What's up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 201. This is the start of the 200th, I was going to say like the second century of the podcast.
Yeah.
This is the second century of the Creative Rise podcast. We're so glad you were here. And we've got an exciting episode today because, one, we're really jazzed up about this topic and we're excited to bring you the value and see how it can help you in your business the way it's been helping some other people, including us. And second, we got to talk about the giveaway. So last week we celebrated, last week's episode was episode 200. We celebrated episode 200 by giving away an iMac or $1,500 towards your next lens or your next camera purchase, whatever one you wanted.
Yeah.
You actually have the iMac right here, right behind us. You want to grab the iMac? And this is an exciting day because we are just about to send this off. Actually, we got to see if she wants this or if she wants, sorry if I just ruined it saying it's a girl, if she wants this or if she wants the cash towards her next camera or towards her next lens. But we've officially gotten a giveaway winner. So we have gone through all the entries. So many of you guys not only entered, but did all of the bonus steps to get extra entries. And this person who won did all of them. Posted on their story, grabbed the pin post course, and just, gave us a really cool, hey, I'd love to win for this reason, and I'm excited about it. So, one, thank you for celebrating with us, guys. It's been so fun to just see your response to 200 episodes of the podcast. It's been also so fun to see you guys take advantage of the brand new $7 bonus course that goes off sale. We're going to extend the sale to the end of this week because I was just thinking about it today and I was like, oh, it officially ends today. I was like, why don't we push it to the end of this week? So to the end of this week, you can still get our brand new course called Sell with Pin Post for just $7. It's going to help you figure out exactly what to say on your social media in your three pin post pieces of real estate. And we're going to give you a framework for each of those so you can actually sell more. You create them once and they just keep serving your business, which is cool. So she followed all the steps. We're really excited. And we just want to say, one, thanks for celebrating. And two, big drum roll. Congratulations. The $1,500 or the iMac, we're going to call her literally after we film this podcast.
Yes.
Is going to
Hannah Joy from Ohio. She is from Joy Flair Photography. She's like a lifestyle elopement photographer. Seems super sweet.
Yeah,
so
seems
it
awesome.
Honestly is a great winner. So Hannah, congratulations to either the new iMac or the new camera or lens that you are.
Yeah, we can't wait to see which one you pick because you said in your comment that you could actually benefit from both. So do you want the big iMac or do you want a new lens or a new camera, which is cool. You get to choose. So Hannah, we're going to be hitting you up. Congratulations for everybody that entered. Thank you for entering. Thanks for being a part of the community. We
want to do more giveaways more often. So if you've got an idea for a giveaway, send it over to our way. But yeah, we're going to continue to do these. So make sure you're subscribed to the podcast, following Creative Rise, so that you can maybe win the next giveaway.
Yeah, if you have something you want us to give away, let us know. Maybe we'll consider it.
Make it happen.
But guys, so glad you're here for today. We're just so stoked about 200 episodes. It's been great, as we said last week. It's just been an awesome ride. Yeah. And it was really cool this week to see so many of you guys that are listeners of the show that we have not yet met in any form, whether at an event, whether in a mastermind, whether you've just DM'd us before. It was so cool to see so many new people that are just listeners that we haven't actually gotten to interact with. You guys getting to comment on that or DM us, start some conversations in the DM. So it was just really cool to see like the greater community come alive for that, which is awesome. So
totally.
We've got some fun updates too on the Mastermind.
Absolutely.
It's been a great week in the Mastermind. This week we just wrapped up week number 5, which is the week all about scaling everything. So week 1 is about building offers. Week 2 is about building your brand. Week 3 is about networking. Week 4 is about building all of your marketing and sales systems. Week 5 is now about how do we make all of those things work together so you can actually scale, right? It's a big question. So we covered a couple things, but we really covered scaling your time. So we talk about like the first couple steps of outsourcing and making sure your time is valued in a way where you can have other people help you with things to accomplish more and scale what you're doing. We talked about scaling your socials, which Christy did, and she got an amazing module on that. And then we also talked about scaling your money and how to manage your money as a solopreneur, as a self-employed creative, because that is not a topic that gets talked about a ton, right? So it's been a really, really great week, and we have a couple awesome wins, which has been so cool. Yes. So, also, I need to talk about the update. This is how much money this round of the Mastermind, round 12, made. Just this week, cash collected, round 12 collected $55,000, $55,137 just crazy. This week. $55,000 is how much round 12 made this week, round 5 of the 6-week Creative Rise Mastermind. 31 businesses. They killed it. There were some really, really big deals that went through this week.
Yeah.
But most importantly, there's just a lot of deals, a lot of people really, really getting some cool wins this week. So
Totally. So we're going to highlight some of those. Number one, shout out to Hunter from Ontario for landing a
Hunter,
$2,000 real estate project
his
for this
biggest real estate house. It was
yes.
one house,
One
$2,000
house,
for one house, which is incredible.
which is so cool. And then John from Montana, who's awesome, from Callahan, he has a retainer that he locked in that's going to equal over 3 months over $8,000. $8,250. Shout out to John. Kai and Sean all the way from Australia Tasmania landed a campaign for $2,000 from a client they worked with before, who ended up coming back, loved it so much they wanted to book again. So congratulations to Kai and Sean.
Yeah, that's huge. And then a $6,500 deal for Ross from Colorado for next spring, which is awesome. And Ross was like, this is cool because he's like, it's so cool to see clients want to get in your calendar so far in advance. Like these clients are going, we don't need the shot till spring, but we really want to lock you down, Ross, because you're exactly who we want to shoot this campaign. So shout out to you, Ross. Congratulations. And then Hunter and Michaela from San Fran locked down a $9,000 deal this week. They run a video production agency. And what's so cool about this is Michaela put in her 2 weeks this week.
Which is honestly the most exciting
She is finally, she's stepping out of her full-time job and moving into this full-time with Hunter, and they're going to kill this. So we're really excited for Hunter and Michaela. So that's just a few wins. We had so many wins this week. We're going to share more about those next week. But a couple great wins this week. It was awesome. So
So we're diving into the episode today because, again, as we talked about scaling socials this last week, and we honestly have been talking so much about socials recently that we're like, let's talk about this on the podcast. We obviously have a ton of people that are starting to implement the Sell with Pin Post course.
It's been so fun to see you guys posting those and tagging us in those.
Literally, the responses, people are sending us like, oh my gosh, I posted my pin post and within 24 hours, I got 3 new inquiries. Like I got 3 new inquiries just from my one pinned post. Or like, oh, this client reached back out to me because they saw my pin post and said they really want to work together again. And that was so awesome and all this stuff. So you guys, socials, it's worth it. Like, I know sometimes socials can be hard. I think the question of like, how do I get socials to really work for me is the question that most creatives are asking. And it's kind of like, oh, in order for it to work with me, does it need to be viral? Does it need to be like, I got hundreds of thousands of followers, or I get thousands of views on my reels, or like what actually works and how can I get it working for me specifically? And there was a cool moment in our mastermind this last week. I think we should touch on.
So every time we do a mastermind community call each week, we kick off our calls with wins. And then we also kick off our calls with what are some takeaways from this week's content, this week's modules that you are applying to your business that was an aha moment or is something that was just a good reminder or something completely new to you. And Kai from Kai and Sean down in Tasmania, Kai spoke up and he said something about how it was just a good reframe and a good reminder for how he needs to view social. Because as Christy said, a lot of the times we all look at social the wrong way. We look at social as what can I do to get the most amount of views? How do I go just mega viral? How do I get the most amount of views? And that is a fun game to play, but it's a discouraging game to play because 99 times out of 100, you're not going to hit that mega view status, right? Or maybe you can even get more than 99 out of 100. Maybe you're like, no, I can get like 30 out of 100. And while that might be amazing, it doesn't always translate to conversions, right? And when I say conversions, I mean sales for your business. So the long game and the thing that we should really be centering ourselves on is how social media, and you talk about this in the module inside of the Creative Rise Mastermind, social media is an investment. Every time you post, you are investing. It's like your social media is a retirement account and you are investing, and it looks small day by day, but over a long period of time, you can really make some cool ground, which is awesome. So here's a quick clip from Kai talking about it. Check it out.
It was like just a real slight shift in thinking, but I think it was in the social part of it, but thinking about the posting on social as like an investment. So you're not expecting to get big quick. It's just like, thinking about it as that way is like you're putting in the effort now and then you're going to expect the returns at a future date. It doesn't mean that it's not going to come back to you, but it's just like, I suppose, compounding as well. The more you do it, the more that the people are going to think that you know what you're doing right as well. And so, in the future, it's going to be great. Kind of. That was super helpful.
Totally.
So anyways, I love what Kai said because it really is not about those like quick win vanity metric stuff. It's about the long-term gain that you're
Great
gonna
accent too.
always appreciate a
Great
good
accent. Yeah.
I
Shout out
love
to you,
Creative
Kai.
Rides being
Great
so
dude.
international.
Yeah.
But something that I want to add to what he's saying and make it contextual for maybe the listener right now is, are you thinking like, oh, like the end goal has to be that I have tens of thousands of followers, that I'm only going to be successful on socials once that investment starts paying off and I get tons of views and all that kind of stuff? And I want to encourage the person listening and saying, most of our six-figure business owners, six-figure plus multiple six-figure business owners in Creative Rise have less than 10,000 followers right now.
Yes.
Like right now,
almost
they are
all of
getting-
the multi six-figure
Yeah.
business owners that have been through the mastermind, they
100%.
all have less than 10,000.
less than 10,000 followers. So, but that doesn't mean they don't use socials and that it's
No, they use
dormant.
social a lot.
They're using socials consistently and strategically. And what they do different than maybe the person that is either not using it at all or actually looks very vanity metric successful is that they're being so strategic on talking to their ideal client.
And they're
and
focused on conversion.
They're focused on conversions and they're focused on a framework of how to actually use their social media. And that is why it's converting for them really, really well. And why they're not actually that concerned with the fact that they have less than 10,000 followers because they're making 200 grand and it's working for them. And so we want to teach you some of these frameworks, some of these content concept ideas that they use that you can use to build your own business as well.
Yeah. So first things first, it's not a short-term game, right?
No.
As we said a second ago, and Kai just alluded to, it is a longer-term game. And when you can start looking at, okay, how do I shift my social goals from get as many views as possible, go viral, as viral as I can? And those aren't bad things. And if you want to play that game, totally play that game. We play that game sometimes. It's fun, right? It's fun to try and be creative and do that.
Yeah.
And those can also help. Don't hear us saying this and go, oh, it doesn't help. Because there's some of you listening to the show that might have had a post go viral and you got 5 wedding inquiries from it and you booked 2 of them. That's great.
Yeah.
It's just if you only ever build your social strategy on that, you're going to come up short more than you will win. And it's going to be discouraging more than it will be encouraging, right? So rule number 1 is that a lot of the vanity, tons of views, virality stuff, those are all short-term things. And I say short-term because not only do they have short-term results, but it's also short-term strategy. Like the platforms change so often, so much. You know this, we know this, and so basing everything you do on this, like I'm just going to work really hard to try and create this viral piece of content, and that's all you do, you might end up coming up short. So number 1, it's not a short-term game. It is a long-term game. Now, if it's a long-term game, it's just the same way retirement works, right? Like retirement's not a short-term game. You don't try and make as much money as you can in 1 year and then live off it for the rest of your life. And while that happens for some people that build a tech platform in a year and sell it for $1 billion, actually, it's probably not happening in a year. But that's not realistic for most people, right? You need to be doing the small things consistently, making those investments over time, and eventually you're going to wind up with a beautiful retirement. Same thing goes with social media. So there's 2 problems. I think the 2 ways these go is, number 1, most people don't view it as a longer term game. They don't view it as a game to be invested in rather than just like, I'm putting something in and I'm hoping for something back. So that's what I love about what Kai said. Kai's like, dude, it's such a great reminder that I don't need to see things come back instantly. And well, a lot of times social media does work that way, right? Like we've had a lot of people this past week get the $7 Sell with Pin Post course, and they've been sending us not only the videos they've been making, but so many people that have already posted their videos, either their origin story, their what I do post, or their case study post. They've been sending us those using our frameworks and go, oh my gosh, I've already gotten, like, these people reach out. Somebody got a couple $1,000 deal from somebody messaging them, right? It's obvious this stuff works. That's very short term. That's not a promise, but that is a reality that can work. But man, if you can do that consistently over a year, oh my gosh, those investments will pay off super long term. So the
it's
first
almost
thing,
like stop viewing socials as a slot machine and start viewing it as an investment account.
Yes.
Every single time you put in a quarter, it's not, hey, pull the levers and maybe we'll get something.
Maybe we'll get $1
done.
back. Yeah.
It's like, hey, every time you put in $1 into your investment account, it's going to continue to pay off in the future. And you're nurturing your audience. Like that's what socials is. It's nurturing the people that do have eyes on you to eventually warm them up to say a yes to you. So that is what socials is supposed to operate as.
So it's important that we view socials that way. That's the first problem, is that we often view socials as a short-term game rather than a long-term game. And because of that, we don't make the right daily inputs. We go for short-term gains rather than like small but really consistent, solid investments into our social strategy and our social content game that over time, as Christy said, you'll put in a buck, and maybe in a year and a half from now, that dollar will pay you back $10. So we got to view it that way. Now, the second thing is that often we're viewing it the wrong way. But the number two is that we often don't know what to post, right?
Yes.
And so you talk about this in a really, really good way inside of Creative Rise stuff all the time. And you talk about how it's not a slot machine. And so if it's not a slot machine, and it means we need to be putting in daily inputs and expecting they're going to be coming back. They're going to pay us an ROI. It just might not be for a while. How do we actually, what should we be posting every day, Christy?
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of creatives, including us at different points of our journey, we have felt, I don't know what to post, right? I'm just watching what other people post and I'm trying to do what they're doing.
Yeah.
I saw this person post and they got some views on it. Maybe I'll try it. And well, that's not a bad thing.
No.
It's market research. It's not a bad thing, but is that the best way to do it? And then if your entire social strategy is just waiting for you to get a tiny little spark of inspiration to post something, or you're just waiting to watch what other people are doing and how it's successful for them, and you're trying to replicate it, that's not a great long-term social strategy.
No.
So what does it actually look like?
I like kind of taking a high view of it and going, what's a strategy and what's a framework that's never going to change no matter what social platform changes, no matter what trend is in, what audios are in. Like all that stuff can be like add spice to what you're doing, but if you don't have the foundation of something that never changes, it's going to be really hard to grow consistently on socials. So something we talk about in the mastermind that I honestly love sharing is just this 80-20 rule. So 80% and 20% equaling 100% of your social content, your social efforts. And what the 80-20 rule is all about is how do you give before you ever ask for anything. So 80% of this is what we call brand marketing. This is stuff that is building awareness. It's educating your potential clients. It's giving value, giving them what they want to either hear or what they want to know, or talking about yourself in a way that helps them to understand who you are so that they know, like, and trust you more and want to buy from you. But it's not asking for anything. It's just give.
Giving
So
value.
80% of your social content being giving value, and then only 20% of it being that direct marketing, call to action, buy from me, book your session, hire me for your next brand campaign. That is only 20%. Now, most creatives, they go one way or the other. They're either, they only talk about hiring them, hire me, here's a portfolio shot, hire me, I'm available, book a call, whatever. Or it's all just brand marketing. It's just entertainment stuff or whatever that is. It's just, a give, but people don't know how to actually buy for you. They don't know that you're open for business either. So you want marrying the two with the 80-20 rule really helps you kind of figure out, hey, how do I give, and then ask? And that's a way more strategic system for figuring out how to do that for your socials than it is to do one or the other.
Yeah. So real quick, what does this look like? Let's use the example of a bride. If we're targeting a bride on social media, so let's go take you back. You're a wedding photographer again. What does the 80% as a wedding photographer look like?
Absolutely. So I think it can look like a lot of things. I would first get in the mind of your ideal client, who you're trying to reach, and what do they want to be seeing? What do they need to know about you before they would choose to be able to buy from you? So I always go back to the know, like, and trust factor. So, okay, we've got the know factor. Okay, what is it that you do that, again, you're not selling it directly like the direct marketing, but what it is that you do? Like, that's great portfolio stuff, posting things from weddings that you've shot. Oh, like here's, 10 venues that I love in the Southern California area. Maybe you're sharing that on your stories. Maybe you're making posts about it. You're posting that, great educational content of like, want to not look awkward in front of the camera, want to have not superposed photos.
It's problem solving content.
Exactly.
Right?
Problem solving content, things like that. And then there's just like factor. We talk about like identity pillars in the mastermind of like, how do you have like cool personal identity pillars in your content that people can connect with you on? So for instance, when I was a wedding photographer, I post all the time how I would go to In-N-Out after all of my shoots. And all of a sudden I was connecting with all of these people that are like, oh, I love In-N-Out too. Or like, I think it's so fun that you just personalize it in that way. My clients would like send me In-N-Out gift cards afterwards, or we'd go shoot at In-N-Out, all this
Brides
stuff.
would literally book you because they're like, I want to go to In-N-Out with you on my wedding night and let's take photos, right? Like it's an identity pillar. It becomes a part of who you are.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's all that just like know, like, and trust factor stuff, whether it's educational, whether it's something about you that's more personal, or whether it's sharing, hey, here's what I did with a client that's maybe just like the person watching your stuff, and doing that kind of content. And then the more direct marketing.
Oh, hold on. Can we talk a little bit more about the brand marketing quick? So again, I really do want to stress this is like the stuff where it's like, as Christy said, think about your ideal client. and think about what are the top 20 questions your ideal client's asking.
Yeah.
Is it what happens, to my wedding day if it rains? Make a video about that. Here's 3 ways that we can get amazing content, or
We're
you
gonna
can get
clear
amazing content,
umbrellas.
right?
We're gonna
If it rains on your wedding
Yeah.
day. What happens if I have families that they don't really get along all that much? Or how do we do
How
family
are you gonna
photos?
handle that?
Do a video talking about 1 or 2 strategies on how to execute family photos in a way where everyone's comfortable, right?
Yeah.
Talk about a couple, as Christy said, top 10 venues in whatever location, right? Like it is giving as much value. Like what are the top questions somebody has when they're planning a wedding or looking for a photographer? How do you give as many pieces of value to that person as possible? But you're not hard asking them to book you. You're just saying, hey, I'm a person of value. I want to give you tons of value. That is brand marketing, right? And then the direct marketing is you're about to talk about. That is here's now how you can work with me. Here's what it looks like to work with me. Book me now, or I only have this many slots left, right? So the direct marketing is pretty much exactly what we helped people create with the $7 Sell with Pin Post course. It is
Absolutely.
like step 1, who are you? Step 2, what do you do? Step 3, this is what it looks like to work with me. Here's a case study. Those are 3
Exactly.
really, really great examples of direct marketing where you are clearly putting yourself in a position to be worked with, right?
Exactly. And you want those to live at the top pinned so that when you are doing all this 80% brand marketing, building, giving, it then seamlessly moves over into that more direct call to action stuff. And I just really love the balance of these. No one wants to work with somebody who feels like it's just always asking for something, right? Any relationship ever. You want
Or no one
someone
wants to
that
follow
gives,
anybody like that either.
gives. Exactly. And then like asks 20%. So
Yeah.
the 80-20 rule is super helpful. And if you're like, okay, well, that sounds great, but like, I feel stuck on the type of content that I should be doing. Like, what are some content ideas? Things like that. We could talk about that right now.
Yeah.
So we've got a bunch of different things, you guys, like so many pieces of content that, I mean, you can just go wild. Like literally look at so many people's Instagrams and you'll be able to find a million different types of content. But here's just like 6 pieces of content, 6 types of content that we just love using that we can just rip through right now. Origin story content, kind of talking about like, hey, where did you come from? How did you get here? We talk a lot about that in the Sell with Pin Post module, literally giving you a framework. Talk about what I do content. So this is talking about, hey, this is exactly what I do. This is how you can work with me. These are the problems that I solve and the solutions that I offer. Case study, client testimonials. We talk about, you can do value breakdown content. Why don't you talk about that for a second? Because
Value breakdown is a lot of people always go, wait, it's $6,000 to have you at my wedding. But it's like, if you do a post on it's $6,000 if you hire me, you don't have to actually say the price. But if you hire me, you're not just getting a wedding album. Here's all the other things that I am going to be doing for you. I'm going to be giving you
Timeline
photos that are
prep.
going to be on your walls, in your grandma's house, at your funeral one day. Like you can talk about all the ways that your value is extracted and spread out and multiplied over someone's life, and also day of stuff, right? I'm also doing timeline prep, as Christy just said. I'm doing,
shot list
shot
stuff.
listing.
I've got
I'm
a
kind
mood
of helping
board.
plan your wedding in a way, and I'm definitely helping as somewhat of a day of coordinator. Even if you have a day of coordinator, like I'm responsible to keep things going, right?
Yeah.
Value breakdown content is talking about all of that. Educational content, we just talked about it. That is answering all the questions that your ideal client has that would potentially help somebody on their journey to going from where they are to where they want to be, right? And then objection handling content is another great one. What are the top 2 reasons? We just did this exercise with our mastermind on a call the other day. What are the top 2 reasons why someone would not hire you? What are they, right? Is it price? A lot of times it's price for a lot of people. It also then might be, well, you're not, going to deliver on time, or you're not in my area, or I'm nervous about, your process. I don't know if I can trust your process. Like, what are all the objections someone would ever have to not hiring you? And make content about those, to explaining why it's not a good objection, right? I have to do this all the time when it comes to brand therapy stuff. When I'm selling very high-end expensive brand consulting, I have to talk about objections all the time because I go, dude, wait, it's like that much money. It's like 15 grand for a day. And I'm like, yeah, but here's how us only doing it in one day, instead of us doing it in 3 months, it's going to save you so much time. We could take this process and spread it out over 3 months, but it'll be a waste of your time. Here's why us doing this in one day with this process is not only going to save you time, but it's going to get you X results. And they start to go, oh, the one day is not a limiting factor. I only get one day. The one day is an incredible thing that they can get all this done in a day, right? So you got to start talking about objection handling content. So here's the great news. If you're like, those are all great things, I need to do more of that, You can literally get how to make an origin story post, which is so incredibly crucial. That needs to be a pin post. How to create a what I do post. Sounds very simple, but it's really, really strategic with the framework we've built for you. And it's already this week gotten people deals, lots of them.
Literally.
It's probably the most common thing we've been getting messages about that's already getting people new work and new deals.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, the how to build a case study post. Those first three we just mentioned, client testimonials, case studies. Origin story, what I do, case study post. Those need to be the 3 pin posts living on the top of your socials. And it's super important that you build them in a strategic way. And for just $7, literally the same price as the average Starbucks order, you can get all of those frameworks with examples and a full video course you get lifetime access to, showing you how to build those strategically. So you can watch the course in like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and by 2 hours, and then you can have all of your posts scripted out, filmed, and edited, and you can start posting these things and getting results. This is like same day stuff, guys, which is really cool. So $7 till the end of this week. It's gonna be $7, and then we're going to make it normal price. As it always is going to be. So if you want that, go to creativerise.com/pin posts, and you can get everything there, get the $7 deal there, or just hit the link in the description of this podcast. But guys, we hope this has been really helpful for you. It is so important. As we said, you change how you think about social. It's not a slot machine where you put in, $1 and you're hoping to get 10 back right away. Sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do post something, especially if you're doing it with the pin posts. Those are going to be really, really strategic for you. I hope you get really short-term results, but social is a long game. It's a long game of doing the right things over and over and over and over again, and it pays off massive down the road. And we're talking conversions. You might get a ton of followers, you might not, right? But will it put a lot of money in your bank account? That's what we care about, because we care about helping you build your business. And so doing social in the investment style way we're talking about today, especially if you do it with the content styles we're talking about today, especially if you grab the pin post course and you start utilizing the pin post course, and not just making the 3 pin posts, but you take those same frameworks and make a ton of other content for them. That is going to be really helpful for you, and it's going to help your social game improve. And that is what you need to know about using socials to grow your business in 2024 and the end of 2024 here, fall. It's crazy that it's almost the end of 2024.
And you guys, next week, we are so excited because we're going to be telling you the grand total of what our 6-week mastermind made within the 6 weeks. And you guys, I already know the total is going to be insane. So that's going to be really fun to announce.
And, well, even better than totals, just like from where people started to where they're at is incredible. So we're going to share some fun stories.
Quit their jobs. It's been amazing.
Yeah, this might be a
good, like,
record-breaking quitters round.
Just a bunch of quitters.
We always say in the mastermind, we love quitters around here. We love when people quit their jobs. So
absolutely.
Anyways, guys, hope you have an awesome day.
Watch out for next episode. It's going to be awesome.
Watch out for next week. Thanks for being here. Thank you for 200 episodes. Thank you for entering the giveaway if you did. Shout out again to Hannah Joy. You won the iMac or the $1,500. We're going to connect with you right after this and figure out how we're going to get that to you. And for everybody else, thanks for being here from us here at Creative Rise and everybody else that makes this happen. We love you guys. We're cheering for you big time this week. We'll see you next week.